club, where are you? Turn on your screens, because you guys get a shout out and are part of this whole process for me. I think Elizabeth Munoz is here. I can't see if anyone else is. Okay, so Lorena, Rosa, open your mics, man, so we can have a talk about this book.
No.
That we did in Spanish, because it is, I had them translate this book to this book. But let me tell you, a Spanish translation, I don't speak Spanish, don't know what I'm doing. And this book, including all the references, is 381 pages. And when they translated the book came out to, 397 pages. And so of translation, okay? And Rosa started it, and she's like, oh, I can do it. And I said, okay. And so she did, and she'd give me little pieces of it. And then I said, okay, Lorena, I need you to go check this, all right? Because I want to make sure it's all conversational too, because I knew Lorena was using this already in Puerto Rico, right? And so I said, okay. And so the two of them tag teamed this. And then I gave it to my book club here, and they went through it and checked it to make sure that I was doing everything to make sure that I didn't offend somebody, because I like to double check everything. And then the story behind this cover is, this is the cover I wanted for this book. But the publisher didn't want me to have this cover. And they said, no, you need to be on the cover. It's your first book. And I said, I don't want that cover. I want this cover. And they said, you don't know what you're talking about. And I said, yeah, I do. I want that cover. But I ended up getting the other, there was another cover that I really didn't like. And I ended up with this cover. And then when I did this one, I said, you know what? I'm my own publishing house now. See, that's what you do when you're an entrepreneur. You make your own stuff when you don't like it. And I said, I can do what I want. Dr. Debra Publishing can do what she wants. And so I said, I want this cover. And I said, oh my God, that is perfect for this Spanish edition of this book. And I sent it to both of you guys, and you're like, oh, that's beautiful. And I'm just like, okay, I'm going with this. And then I showed Bobby Hernandez, and I showed you the classes at USC. And I was like, yeah, that's what we're doing with this book. So thank you guys for all of that. And I just want to hear your experience. I don't know who wants to go first with going through this and doing this tedious project.
The first thing that I want to say is that as soon as I saw the cover, I started crying. But crying, and it has a lot of different things. The first thing is because I remember reading the book the first time, and I'm just like, oh my God, we need this in Spanish. We need a lot of different resources. And one of my biggest thing is that when we are talking or when we are working with our clients, which doesn't speak English, we don't have a lot of resources for them in Spanish. So we have to go to do the translation for the majority of the work that we already do. So when I heard you mentioning that the book is coming in Spanish, I want the book in Spanish, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is happening. So, but I never thought about that I was gonna be part of it. And not to mention that when I saw the cover that you put the name on it, I was like, what? I started crying, but I did cry again. And my mom is right here. I'm gonna throw her out there. So she's listening to us. So as soon as I got the physical book, I cried the entire night. So that was another thing. It was an amazing journey, because to me, to be able, and Rosa, I have to say that when I started reading it in Spanish and then thinking about what I was reading in English, I was like, oh my God, how can we do this that it's like everybody can understand exactly what we are talking? And it was amazing opportunity. So I was beyond excited.
Oh, awesome. She's one of my wonderful students. I was her dissertation chair too. No, reader. I was your reader. And yeah, and we kept in touch all this time. When she told me she was using, I was like, oh my God. And you know, I have a course now at the LOU for the book, and I'm translating that course into Spanish. so that your people can take that course and be able to read the book and go through it and be able to get that knowledge with worksheets and all kinds of things on a self-paced course. So we'll be talking about that.
That's even better.
Mm-hmm. So Rosa, for you, what was this?
Like Lorena, I think it was such a privilege. First, I want to thank you, Dr. Warner, and Robert as well for being vulnerable and sharing your story. Being Latina and coming from the community, this is not something that is discussed. And so, you know, focusing on trauma work, I saw, again, there are not a lot of resources, not just for us as clinicians, but also for our patients. So when Dr. Warner offered the opportunity, I jumped on it because I knew that this was going to be such a monumental thing. And so I'm really excited that this resource is available, and that it will touch a lot of doors. And like Lorena, it's not as easy to just translate, you know, yes and see, because it needs to make sense and it needs to flow. And the idea is that any Latino from any culture will read this book and they will be able to understand it and be able to connect and really understand the story behind it. So it was an honor for sure. And thank you, Dr. Warner, for sharing this with us. And I can't wait for this to reach the hands of our communities. I can hear you.
You are muted.
Did you guys get your copies?
I did,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay. So just making sure, if you guys need them for like your work or anything, contact me. Don't buy them from Amazon and them, because I can give you the wholesale book and send you the copies directly. So make sure that you do that. And even the courses, we'll talk about that if you want to use them.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, perfect. And the other, you know, my book club was amazing because I don't think they even knew that I really wrote books or anything like that. It was my son's elementary school. It's the closest thing we had to a PTA, and these women embraced me. And it is like one of the highlights of my son being in elementary school was going to book club, and they would cook Spanish foods, and, you know, and they all spoke Spanish. So, you know, I could pick up on some of it, and it was really neat because they embraced the fact that I didn't. And I would still go every week, and I would still get the chats. And even though the chats were in Spanish, they would try to translate, and then I would try and translate through Google Texts. And we went, you know, back and forth, but I was always part of the group. I never felt like I wasn't part of the group, which was really neat. So I had them read this for me, and they were blown away and they learned from it. But they also told me these little pieces that I didn't, well, of course I wouldn't know, I don't speak Spanish, but you know, I said, I just want to make sure that I don't offend somebody. That was so important to me because my husband's Hispanic, and I did this also for his community, right? And I said, I always double and triple check something, because that's one thing I've learned, is that you want to put your best self out there, you know. And I said, I had 2 of my best students do it, and they're now doctors, but I just want to make sure that the average person is not offended by anything, you know. And they did a good job. So if you're here and you're not turning on your camera because you're shy, I thank you so much. And it was just such a blessing to go through this process and everything, because I think I was Rosa's chair, right?
Yeah, you were.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember you gave me the idea back when I ran into you in New York.
I did.
Yeah. And I said,
Spanish, and we made it happen. So
yeah. Yeah, that's where you were on Facebook. I said, are you here? I'm here. Let's have breakfast. And then I posted a picture for everybody because I was on sabbatical.
Yeah.
But okay, so you all have your book. One thing I want to do is I want to get copies for all of us to have a copy. So I'm going to sign this, and then I'll mail it to Rosa, then she can mail it to Lorena, and then we can mail it, or I'll mail it to Lorena first because that'll be more expensive. And then we'll go like this, and I'll put an envelope in it so you can send it to Rosie. How's that? Right. And then, but what we're going to do is I'm going to sign, and then I'm going to hold up the picture of signing, and then you guys sign and hold the picture. And I'm going to send you other books so you have one that's not signed. Trust me. I just wanted to make sure you had a copy for today. Okay. So they'll be coming from the publisher, and I'll talk to you separately about that. So I'll go first, and then you sign, and then Lorena will sign, and we'll hold them up, and then all 3 of us will hold up the book. Okay.
Okay.
Let me grab
Rosa,
it.
My husband's coming to take a picture.
I know.
You get it?
Look up at me though, and, you know, yeah, there we go.
Okay, and then I hold it up. So Devon, are you ready?
Ready. Hold 1 second. I'm sorry. 3, 2, 1. Got it.
All right, now Lorena, you sign and then hold it up. And then get people taking pictures of you signing the actual book and send it to me for social media.
Okay. Oh, let me get the background.
Right.
And now,
Ooh.
oh,
There it is.
If you could go a little bit to the left, my people over here, so I can't see the book
Right.
that way. Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Great. Oh, I'm not sure we could see the signature on that.
Uh-oh.
It was a little low. I'm sorry. One more time.
No, you're fine. Oh,
Oh,
good. Right here.
ready. Okay, ready. There it is. And smile. Got it. Oh no, the virtual background came right in time. I'm so sorry, everyone. One more time.
Let me just 1 second. Let me.
Oh, turn the virtual background off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try it without the virtual for 1 second.
Thank you. Get this lovely green in the background as well. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Rosa.
Let's do this. Here it is. Oh, let's
Oh,
see if it doesn't give me issues.
there you go.
Okay. Can you go ahead and talk so that your name comes up for the speaker view, please?
Okay.
Rosa.
Is that good?
Yes, perfect. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Wonderful.
All right. So now let's all hold them up. Woo-hoo. See if Devon can get it.
See, how should I do this? Gallery, maybe I'll do, because there's going to be a couple extra people on the side. So
It's okay.
Bobby,
Come on.
oh, your lovely kitchen table isn't here. Okay, everyone smile. Got it. Okay, thank you.
Cool beans. Got it?
Yeah,
Okay, so I'll send 3 signed copies. We'll go round robin, right? And then the last person who gets it takes a copy for themselves, sends 2, right? And then we'll do it that way. And I'll send you the envelopes. Cool beans. So, but can you share a little bit, Lorena, about how you're using this?
One of the biggest thing and how I'm also working right now, we have here in Puerto Rico one of the APA chapters of the one of the APA chapter is the Puerto Rico APA, and then we have a committee on sexual health, health, and one of the biggest thing is that we were talking about how we are going to address, because like Rosa was mentioning earlier, one of the biggest challenges with our community is to understand what is sexual male trauma and how also males can be sexually abused. That's one of the stigma that in our community, they do not talk about it. It never happened. Nobody can talk about it. If it's going on, and especially if it's within their same households, you just shut up. Anything that happens inside the house, it gets resolved in the house. And how we are going to use it and how we go about it is talking about healthy sexuality. Right now, we have a biggest community education component into it, because the Department of Educations do not want to talk about healthy boundaries and healthy sexuality. And that's wants to be add into part of the curriculum. So that's one of the main goals to add, because it's a Spanish resource, is something that we are going to also include. And in the with the graduate students and with the schools, we are going to make sure that we have different panels and different communications about what is really going on and how can we address the male trauma.
And Rosa, you're using it too, right?
I used it before it was even a Spanish version of it. I was working at a trauma center before, and just bits and pieces of it I would, and just, you know, really normalizing, like Lorena said, that males can also be victims. I mean, not just sexual abuse, but I mean, any form of abuse, which is very taboo for males to even speak. You know, coming into an office where you have a female therapist, that's not something that they're comfortable sharing, because they don't want to be perceived as vulnerable. They don't want to be weak. So really normalizing that this is just an experience, a human experience, has really helped a lot of, at least the clients that I've worked with, start and learn to accept and even talk about their trauma. So it was such a helpful tool for me, even before it was a Spanish resource. But now I'm excited that I can actually hand something to them. And not only for that, but even as a student, I think students will benefit from this, especially the Spanish speaking students. There isn't a lot of material for students. So this is another resource, not just for clinicians, for patients or clients, but also for upcoming students that are going to be working with the population.
That's awesome. Yeah, I put the book in a couple of libraries already, and now I'm going to put the Spanish version in there. So it'll be in New Zealand and in New York and all of those, places, because I want to make sure that it goes to all the masses, and I even made a list of Spanish universities, like there's HBCUs, historically Black universities. There's a few Latin ones, and it should go there, and it's definitely needed, because people don't realize there are some culturally specific things that go with that population that, you just can't say it's universal, because it's not, it's just not,
Right.
And thank you for mentioning that part, because even when we talk about diversity and the cultural aspects of it, it plays completely different, and try to challenge that with different clients and try to challenge that with how we are going to accept or to work with. It's completely different.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But now it's more inclusive, which is awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, any questions for our wonderful book authors now? Your name should come up. Well, no, it's because it's just on the cover. Never mind. None?
We speak Spanish too, guys.
Yeah, they do. You can say it in Spanish.
Right.
Elizabeth.
Oh, Elizabeth Munoz raised her hand. Go ahead. Elizabeth? You have to, there you go.
Yeah. Hi, Debra.
Hi, why don't you turn on your camera?
You know what? It's because I'm working right now.
Oh, okay.
That's
She's
why.
from my wonderful book club.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, thank you for everything. Actually, sorry, I have to run. Actually, was a pleasure read your book. I don't know. It's oh my goodness, it's very emotional for me talking about this. But I'm so happy. I'm so grateful to have a person close to us like you, because trust me, you teach us a lot. This book is beautiful. It's we learn a lot, and you know that. So, and thank you for give us the opportunity to read it before, share you know, some thoughts with you. And thank you for this. This is the first time that I have the participate with you in this sorry, I forgot the in this convention. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm just touched that you came, because I was always touched and learned so much from you guys, and to hear your emotion behind it, really touches my heart, because you guys could have rejected me, or not allowed me in, and I was always so grateful for that, and the discussions and learning about you and your lives, and being able to share this with you, and allowing me to be myself. That was the thing, is I was allowed to be myself with you, and that was really important to me. So, and it made the experience of being with my son in elementary school, because I had just gone home to be with him, and I was working, and I went home, and then I met you guys, and I had something to do every Monday, so that was very touching to me. So,
Yeah,
and I appreciate it, and thank you, and it was a blessing. It was a blessing to me.
yeah, for us too, and you know that we have we like do a lot of, well, more stuff with you, continuing sharing, and thank you.
You. I'm trying to find a picture of all of them so you can see them.
So how does that make you feel when you hear somebody where it means so much, a book that they've never read, or a subject that they've never seen in print, and then for the collaborators, how does that make you feel for having a book written that's important, that communicates something that you haven't had a vehicle to talk about before, and especially have it translated?
I mean, I think for me, it just makes the job worth it. I mean, this translating isn't easy. Again, because it's not, like I said, the way you would translate a word into Spanish, it's just not the same. It can take 3 words to say one thing, and so it was a hard job, but this makes it all worth it. And this is one of the main reasons why I volunteered to do it, right? Because I knew that it would have this effect on our community. I mean, and even growing up as a Latina, I mean, this was something that nobody talks about. And so to hear more people talking about it and being touched by something that's very, very needed, right? Very powerful. It just makes it so much worth it, and motivates me to continue to work and reach the Latino community.
It is beyond the words that can describe this time, because one thing is to think about, well, you are doing something about the population that you work with, but you know how much impact this can have and how far this can go, especially going into clients, and now being able, because it's not the same, at least for the majority of the community, they are not, if they see the book, they may be attracted to it in English, but the majority of them were not even gonna be able to understand the context and the complexity out of it. So having it in their main language and in my first language, it's the first thing that I can say is like a blessing, because it makes more sense, and it makes more understandable what we are trying to do, and the work that we need to have, and the encouragement for survivors to be able to feel part of what we are able to connect, and how we are able to talk with them like we were in the living room or we were in some other place. So it's beyond the words that can describe it.
Yeah, and this is the picture I took with all of them. Let's see if you can see it. I'll send it to Devin so she can post it. I think I have to dim my screen. Hold on. And this is my wonderful book club
Oh,
that helped read it. They're all holding their books, and you know, that I'm choked up now, you know, hearing Elizabeth talk, and that was the day I gave it to them, and in the, I think we get the Sizzler, like, you know, but that it was just awesome. And and now we're gonna have dance class, so I'm kind of excited about that.
I mean, how cool is it that Elizabeth would share that and share the emotions of it? Because all the people that have been affected and benefited by the book, you don't get to hear that, and especially you don't get to hear the raw emotions of it.
Yeah, and the work that she put into it, you know, she did. It was a lot of work. I still have all of the raw notes she gave me. You know, it was just special to me. I'll never forget that in my life. You have moments, right? This is one of those moments with you, my book club, Elizabeth, Lorena. This is one of those moments in life that I'll look back when I'm 90 and say, I can never recreate that, but I can always have a warm feeling and remember that. And I did something, right? That's just one of these moments. Thank you.
Yeah, something that made you speechless is kind of miraculous and obviously very touching.
I'm holding back the tears, like, you know, it's like, it's just awesome. And Elizabeth's been here most of the day. I saw you on this script and listening to all these talks and conversations. So I know that she's been here and participating, and I thank her for that too. All right, Scott, how much time we have left?
You've got 2 minutes, and you're going to need this. You're going to need a self-care therapy to work out those emotions and loosen up and wake up a little bit. But yeah, timing's perfect.
Timing is perfect.